Hey sociology students, it's Mrs. T again. I just won't go away, will I? This is week 2, lesson 4, and I think I told you in lesson 3 that there were only 3 more videos, but I lied. I didn't intentionally lie, but I've decided to rearrange the last ones a little bit so they can all be shorter. So this is lesson 4 for week 2, and there'll be 3 more after this if I do my job well. So I wanted to tell you that the next 3 videos are going to be about what we call in sociology the theoretical perspectives. So if you think back to the very first video during week 1, when I told you that sociology is the systematic study of society and social interaction, with some other, I gave it a little more flowery definition, I think, during week 1. But anyway, it's the systematic study. So we collect data through organized research methods that use the scientific method. And when we have that data, we have to have a way to analyze it. We have to have a framework and a set of questions or a point of view to apply to the way we analyze the raw data. So in sociology, the theoretical perspectives are what we use to analyze the data that we collect when we organize our research in sociology. So a theory, that's what this word theoretical refers to. It refers to a theory. A theory is simply an organized set of explanations for why something is like it is. It gives you a framework to formulate questions that you're going to ask about your research. Okay, you're going to try to find answers for particular questions to see if your research reveals those answers. So there are different theoretical perspectives. There are 4 in particular, 4 theoretical perspectives that we're going to mention in this video really quickly. We're going to use in this class together for the rest of the semester, we're going to use 3 of them really closely, and we're not going to use the 4th one really at all. I'll tell you why in just a second. But the theoretical perspectives are different points of view that you can use to analyze data to come to conclusions about different trends in society or different micro-level experiences. So there are 4 theoretical perspectives. The first one is functionalism. It's kind of the oldest one. Emil Durkheim, that we talked about in the last couple of videos, he was a functionalist. He looked at the macro scale point of view of society, and then functionalism has a certain set of explanations and a specific point of view to itself. It uses macro scale, and then in another video I'll tell you what the questions are, what the approach is that functionalists take. Conflict theory is the second one. Conflict theory, or sometimes you will see this called social conflict theory. This one is also a macro scale theory, although sometimes you see like a mid-level social analysis with conflict theory. So it's a different perspective altogether. You can use You can take the same set of data. If you systematically collect data using the scientific method, if you organize your research method carefully so it doesn't have biases in it and you get valid, reliable data when you are researching, then you can take the same set of data and apply the questions that functionalists typically apply and come to conclusions, or the same set of data and apply the questions that conflict theorists usually ask and come to a different set of conclusions. So these 2 theories at the top, I'm stopping or hesitating on them really quick before I'll go to the other 2, because every sociologist must have a really good understanding of both of these theories, because even if you don't want to use either of these theories normally, if you like one of these other 2 theories better, you have to have a thorough background and understanding of these so that you can apply these theories the best, the most effectively. Okay? So again, I'm just telling you the names of the theories here. I'm not giving you what the approach is yet. That's for the next video. Okay? Symbolic interactionism is so I'm going to make a video on functionalism, conflict theory, and symbolic interactionism. I'm not going to make a video on this other one. I'll tell you why in just a second. But symbolic interactionism is the third theoretical perspective that we're really going to focus on this semester. And we're going to focus on this on the micro scale. We're going to look at symbols and interaction. So this is a human level, an everyday social life level observation, whereas these two are macro scale. However, you really can't, see I've got the but, dot, 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 it's micro scale, but, dot, dot, dot. You really have to have a very thorough understanding of both of these to be able to ask worthwhile questions at the micro scale. So we have to ask questions about the way people form relationships, or the way we add meaning to life, the way we interpret reality. Those kinds of things are micro scale questions. But you really have to understand macro scale social structure with both of these approaches in order to formulate your questions effectively when you're using symbolic interactionism. Now, postmodernism, there's a section in, I think, every chapter, but in chapter 1, there's a longish kind of section on postmodernism. It is a theory, a relatively new theory, that essentially says that these first three theories miss some of the nuances that a globalized world and the telecommunications system and the credit system and consumerism and all these things that didn't exist 100 years ago when these other things were invented, or 60 years ago when this became popular. This theory says, society's changed so much, and therefore these theories kind of don't tell the whole story. But again, you have to know the first three theories really, really well in order to apply this one intelligently. So we are an intro to sociology class, and even though all of you are highly intelligent and capable of doing this, we don't have enough time together in an introductory class to go deeply enough into each of these for you to be able to thoroughly understand postmodernism. So that is why we are going to leave it out of our class for the most part. You will read blurbs about it in each of the chapters that are assigned, but for the purpose of the first project that you're going to be required to do, I'm going to ask you to I'm going to ask you to be able to explain in a common everyday language kind of way, not in an advanced college level way, but I'm going to ask you to explain to a third grade level education what functionalism, conflict theory, and symbolic interactionism are. So in other words, the next 3 videos that you watch with me, please make sure you give yourself plenty of notes. Please make sure, whether you've got a physical textbook or you're using the ebook that's linked on the Start Here page in our Blackboard class, please make sure that you align your notes for each of these things with the section in chapter 1 that explains them really thoroughly. And then there's sections in each of the additional chapters of the textbook that looks at the specific topic of that chapter and applies the theory so that you can see the way that the theories can be equally applied to the same topic and come up with different conclusions. So there's going to be a lot of reference that you can make in your textbook to these things too. There are some really good animated kind of videos on YouTube where you can just look up structural functionalism or functionalism, and a cartoon character will tell you what it is. So let me teach you first, and then you can use those as supplemental if you need to. Okay, and your book too. Okay, so there's 3 more videos this week. They're all going to be short. One's this, and one's this. So I will see you again here in just a minute whenever you have the chance to watch me again. Bye.